So maybe then to shift from the popularizing of Buddhism and teaching of Buddhism more broadly to the academic study of Buddhism. So for example, I teach a course here called the Introduction to Buddhism, and we present a survey of the history of Buddhism and the foundations of Buddhist thought. And my course is probably similar to the way it's taught in most American universities, where we teach the students that there's a foundational period of the development of Buddhist traditions that is closely, probably closest representation of that is in the Pali Tripitaka. And at a later time, we had the development of the Mahayana Sutra tradition. And then even later than that, we have the first appearances of Tantra in India. And that historical way of understanding the development of Buddhist literature and practice through these different stages is really central to the way that we teach and think about Buddhism. But I know in a traditional context, it's understood that all of these three vehicles were taught at the same time. And I wonder if Rinpoche has any thoughts about how a modern scholar of Buddhism who takes account of what we know about the development of texts and the appearance of different kinds of Buddhist texts over time, how they can find a way to understand that in harmony with the Buddhist tradition's understanding of all of these texts as authentic teachings of the Buddha.
Parchir tate ngarasu nachu kandang kan na shirna tare ji ngidong ge ji gangzak maksong da na darshan nam na nang song a se jin ra timo yo re da nang song a na tik ji gna nang song ji de tak ji de yin se ge yo ma re shirna sanji chondon de ge tare chungkur rambab jin de kor no to darsha thmo a ga nang wa ra song re thmo a ga nang wa ra song ji de ngacha ge thmo a ga lor ji da ta ne sha go na re thmo maim ba song ji gon je ta to tare ngacha ga mo da na di mo tham che de thmo maim ba la song ge yo ma re de yin na sanji ge tare ta tang sang gon rol ta de yin na tare tang bo thangman ge chu war ta thak chen ge chu thama tare ge thak chen ge nang ge yang sang ge dam re khwer na tare ding khor da na de jin de na sang di ba la so ba de song de ne yang ji thmo maim ba ge ne na the sang ge yang ji la na me pa ge ji da di mo song yo re de cha ge yin na ngacha ge wo ge yin na jar lor ji ne na khwer na ja ji dun jong bo che ge de tare dun jom chum jong zhe zhen na da dang bo tare ge san ge ge zapap chigni ge go ge ne ma ra song de ne jan chig chigni ge ma ra song de ne tare ge ja ker ge yer de chu chir tar sir de ne ram ba jen de wo ge yer de san tar sir da wo ge yang ser san ge ka ma da na nyam ma ter ma tri nge tare dun jom bo chi ge te 보이기 요지도 야나 그렇게 지 지려네 땅이 뜻하는 땅상들이 보이고 나도 있는 자가 시집 그 야거 그 나도 있는 자가 정말 땅상 것만 탐지 그 켈링고나 다리가 논저는 뭐지 침종 그래서 말하는 정나 드네들이 로지 있는 자가 가창마다 야하즈다 라프트고 요지려 삼가 대인이나 다리가 산지 그 어더샤 남나나 요원도 뭐차건 로 미원도 제나 럼지 손을 막도 좀 틱치가 다리 나죠 말. 틱치가 손주가 돼요. 곰바 카카다네. 연제슈 잡동 카카요 그래. 당부 나hnan데 치료인데 뉴리츠지던 코난 베치 겨려온데다 이나 카페 그바래. 데 나나미 나나 나가 야이긴저 겨잖아. 당선 몸보고 돈 탑고면도. 되는 게 파르처 로르가 안서 그러는데 다 야미 에카도 게데다는데 티 워중고 다리데 파르칸상가 다르코 파르그 요래. तेना तारिगा ताज खा साबोनज गियो योरे तांसंग लोरजी गिरगिरिदा तिनाना गारें गारें तन शिलो लोसक छका जोखसिसाना लोसक छका जेताना खुंगु सोंजुंगो मारे तांसंग त छकारा लोसक मेनेना तने तारिगा नजक कमंदवा.
Maybe to follow on that a little, so if we leave aside the esoteric tradition, even just looking at the Mahayana Sutra tradition, for example, so in many of the Mahayana Sutras, for example, it will say Shakyamuni was residing at Vulture Peak or some other location, and these people were present, and he gave this teaching. And the text is presented as a teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha, so we can date that historically to around 500 years BCE. But these texts don't appear, we have no record of any of them until many, many centuries later. And so most scholars now think that those Mahayana sutras were written by someone much later, around the 1st century BC or to the first century CE, in that period of time. And there have been very thorough studies, for example, of the Perfection of Wisdom sutras in different lengths to determine which ones were earlier and later. So with some precision, we can actually say when these texts first appeared. And that's different from what's said in the text, that it was taught by Shakyamuni at that place many centuries earlier than that. So even on that exoteric level, I wonder, how do we solve that contradiction?
Nanchuga logic nana sarvo sonyore te when sanji jondunde tambone ta tansan thamowa wandu shena loni tonga jarngap chinga chugdun zu teran sonyore to tariga yingyodo shirna tela gombam thamam thamombo yore to sanji jondunde segiyo mare sanji jondunde maimba when ishi na jaga janak tariga khonzi na jaga te son samala ya tari logic tatsar dana jotsur ko tiroyana ramandra koron so mombo yogore kanayana te yore te yenre da yeneya tari sanji jondonde ko son sardi de ti nerkamna tari ga taji yike phawya me zeyore tene jima tari kabda tawa da kabda ni pa kabda sambaji kirodan te di tari yike phawya re ta te na ndark to ba tis chigna se gi ndark to ba tis chigna se gi ti nerkamna tari ga ji nima ji dana dawa ji da che ji de ze sarka yo mare to sarka me ki ote na ji taching ge sone na tis chigna se gi de semchin mombo gor nansar moz yo re zende da to tansang ma tham che kelen yo mare to ke malan ji chanje na ngache gi shirtung glor ji na ra na ta parchir dare sanji yo pe nerkamna ti thaching ni mo sone re ze tansang ma tham che Pernadariga and Zalangum Quebec Mussi in and a cool Lurgigana in that could touching the sooner is a did something on the Zamzaka, they enjoy it. The chilies in that to cool sooner yonder, the sono the chestage and the India, Sanjigger, Jimatari Kungoson Chaka Yike Tojo, Zaidana, De Marashayore, De Marashay, Drapchumbat Homatam Chaka, Yiketan Jabre, the any Chirondi, that you Kungo Son Yono, that Tansantariga. The Ribag Shadi Kiriona and the Denhontari near Nina Tokayore. The Nina Nisanotana, Tina Lotsik that that's exams, Tirmos Zagson Mare, Lalalo, Tariga, Dumjaz and the low some jazz in the purchase that is Santi Denitana. Da jima dari kabdaram baksam da rambaram bajine tan trishere to yenina chi lodan dawa ti tsuk sarwo sung meji janze yenara na to lorgi gtana den dawa ga jong hajang mambo yonara khwerna dari ga ne ishi chulu ga dari ga ti chunra zin janara na dar dawanda dan chende zen song yo mare dan yenna khoro chog to nyamslang dan to chadden ga tamjulo dari zang ga yore.
Thank you.